Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll review the Tigers' game against Penn State and preview their game against the UMBC Retrievers. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum. The Tigers hit the road for a game against number 7 Penn State Nittany Lions. After a hard fight, they ultimately would fall 13-11. As always, I am joined by the head coach of the Tigers, Sonia Lamonica. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Ben. Always a pleasure.
So, first game of the year, a loss to Stony Brook, number 6 in the country, 1 goal. Next game, number 7 Penn State, 2-goal game. Is there any moral victory in that you're sticking so close with top 10 teams?
Look, I think we've played 2 great teams, and I think one of the takeaways is that we too are a great team, and that we have a few things that we've got to correct, develop, in order to come out on top in those games. So I think overall, morale is high. We're excited. But our expectations are very high. So, we're not, I guess we're looking to build on this, and we're certainly not satisfied. So, yeah, it's great, and I think it helps to expose sort of what we need to fix quickly.
One of the storylines from that game, Olivia Conti picks up 2 yellow cards. She's done for the day. That puts Sam Chenoweth in. She goes ahead and gets 4 ground balls, 3 calls turnovers. Is going to be named CAA Rookie of the Week. Yeah. She had a really nice day.
Yeah, Sammy is another freshman. Both Olivia and Sammy have just come in, and particularly in this preseason, Sammy has really stepped up. She's playing with more confidence. I think she still doesn't feel like she's playing at her best, but she's able to come in and fill a role for Olivia. And she's been playing outstanding. Both games, she's been putting plenty of stats on the board, and she certainly knows how to play defense. She knows how to make reads. She has very good instincts, and we're seeing that, which is exciting very quickly in the beginning of the game. So we're going to be using her more for sure.
When you look at players like Tiana Waffer and Kelly McCulkin, and you see the young defenders picking up from them so quickly, does that help you out as a coach? And I'm sure Coach Lamonica and Coach Molster as well, with knowing that some of the senior leaders and the older players are helping with the development of the younger kids.
Yeah, and I'm big on empowering our players to take leadership roles, to be critical thinkers, to help one another. Certainly, as coaches, it's our job to prepare our players going into the game, but come game time, outside of in-game adjustments that we observe, we're really relying on our players as well to be those critical thinkers, to figure out and problem solve on the fly. And I think those leaders are certainly doing that. Kelly, Tiana, Michelle Gilday, who's moved down to a steady role down in the crease there in defense. And, that's all part of what you want to see in your units on the field, and a defensive unit. They got to work together to have success, and if there's one hole on defense, we all suffer. So they've really got to buckle in and work together to solve any problems.
You mentioned the leaders. One of your captains, Sam Brookhart, had a really nice day after being relatively quiet against Stony Brook, against Penn State. 2 goals, 1 assist. When we talk about Montalbano all the time, and Gillingham and Telecamp, Sam's kind of forgotten back there working behind the goal, but she's really the one making things happen and running that offense.
Sam has been a real linchpin, if you will, for our offense. Coach Lamonica has really been working with her extensively on that quarterback role, and making sure that we're finding a way to get the ball through X, and that Sam's being aggressive in her play. She has really, she's probably shown she's one of the best at, doing the things that are being asked of her. to be able to go right and left hand, to push when she gets the ball. And so naturally that's drawing the defense low to her, and she's getting her head up and she's ready to be a playmaker back there. And it's not necessarily feeding in the assist, but moving the ball to the spots that are going to stress the defense. So she's really stepped up in that role, and it's easy to overlook her for sure, but she's somebody that we always want the ball to get through her and work through her if possible.
Turning to UMBC now, you're their season opener. Is there any advantage or disadvantage either way that they haven't played a game yet? You've played 2 tough games.
I don't think so. At the end of the day, it's 2 teams stepping out in the field, and you've simply got to show up. You've got to have a great warm-up, which is something that we've talked a lot about with our players. When we look back at Penn State, and it took us a little while to get going, and so we've identified that maybe we've got to approach our warm-up a little differently so that we can step out in the field and have our compete level be very, very high right out of the gates, not waiting till our back's against the wall to do something about it. So, going into this game, I think we're focused more on those things that we're doing and less about, what exactly the team we're facing is going to do. So we want to dictate the game, and I believe if we do the things that we've been working on and continue to fine-tune and get better in some areas, that, we'll be able to compete at a very high level.
For the Retrievers, Carolyn Jamison, 51 goals last year as a sophomore. Sam Nolan, now a senior. They've got some dangerous players on that roster.
Yeah, they certainly do. They've got a couple of freshmen from last year who played a role in their offense. So, we're going to expect that they'll have a number of scoring threats. We'll expect that, they're going to have a lot of energy. First game of the season, they're at home. And we've got to take this very seriously and go into UMBC and step on that field and be ready for anything. I think the beauty of, our systems, and particularly our defensive system, is it kind of dictates the way the game is going to be played, rather than us adjusting extensively to an opponent. So we will make little adjustments once we see where those hot spots are on their offensive end. But ultimately, if everybody's doing the things that they're supposed to be doing within the unit, I think we're going to be forcing, hopefully low-angled shots and poor shooting opportunities for the opponent.
Last year you played UMBC, 14-4 was the final. You guys win that one. Caitlin Montalbano ties them by herself. She had 4 goals of her own. When you look at UMBC this year, and we mentioned Carolyn Jamison and Sam Nolan, how similar of a system? I mean, there's no film out on them yet.
No, there isn't. So again, we have to focus on the things that we need to do. And I think, if anything, the 2 teams we faced have really prepared us well for this next contest. This past game, it was played at a high level. I do think that was 2 great teams going at it, and again, it exposed some areas that we've got to get better at. Our man-up opportunities. We've got to have more success, and that's an area that we need to fix. Some of our offensive, I think it's great. We've got a lot of balance offensively, so we're playing great team lacrosse. And again, defensively, a couple things that we've got to go back to basics on, as we talked about yesterday, as we reviewed film. So again, we can't focus too much on our opponent. And I don't think either way that is a positive or a negative. But I do think our past 2 games have really prepared us well so that we can keep getting better and stronger.
UMBC over in Catonsville, you have Loyola later this year, Hopkins, all very close proximity. How important is it for you as a coach and for this program to win those games and kind of rule the Baltimore area, so to speak?
We certainly, have pride in last season, coming out on top in all of those games. But at the end of the day, we're approaching every game with a mentality that we want to play to our best, and that the scoreboard is going to reflect us coming out on top. I truly believe we've got a great team that's capable of some really great stuff this season, and to be relevant on the national scene. Coming off of 2 losses against 2 great teams, it's good and bad. It's good because we're right there, but it's bad because I think we had some opportunities that we didn't quite seize and we weren't quite there yet. So all of these teams, every game we face to us is a critical opportunity that we want to seize and take advantage of. And it's always nice to come out on top of the Baltimore teams, no question about it, because it is, such a lacrosse hotbed here, and a lot of these players played against each other or with each other in the high school level. So they're always great battles. So they do feel good to come out on top.
All right. The Tigers and Retrievers will start at a 4 o'clock draw time. I will have the call starting at 3:45 on TowsonTigers.com. Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck against UMBC.
Thank you very much.
And don't forget, fans, for all your news on your favorite Towson Tigers, head over to TowsonTigers.com. For Coach Lamonica, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.